Brendan, Megan and Chris Watts are part of a fishing dynasty at Mandurah South of Perth. The Watts family has been fishing in the Peel-Harvey estuary for 5 generations.
We started roughly around 1890s, about 93 as far as we can go back, on Alfred, and then he came out from New Zealand, did a bit of fishing, bit of teaching, and then decided he was going to settle into fishing in his later years. It's a lifestyle that people dream of. It's in your blood, and it's in your blood for life. So, and hopefully my boys, after, I sort of call it quits in another 10 or 20 years' time, whatever, they'll take over in my place and so on for maybe a few more generations.
Today they're hunting for sea mullet. They strike a patch with several tons, but let most of them go. Smart fishing, they say, is about catching the best market price, not the biggest catch.
You're fishing for the future. You're not just out there to catch every fish you can catch. You've just got to be smart, catch smaller lots, get better prices. You don't have to work as hard, and your fish stocks last for a lot longer down the track.
The Peel-Harvey estuary is a 130 square kilometre system at the end of the Serpentine, Murray and Harvey rivers, 80 kilometres south of Perth. It supports abundant marine life and is internationally recognised as a wetland and important bird area. There are 11 commercial fishing businesses on the estuary. 10 of them, including Damien Bell's, fish for blue swimmer crabs.
Yeah, I love it. We're so close to the metropolitan area, but we're able to catch one of West Australia's iconic species and supply fresh, local and sustainable seafood to the Perth consumer daily.
But with that close proximity to WA's biggest market comes close scrutiny.
We've got a maximum size of our boat. We're only allowed this size boat, around a 6 metre size vessel. We're only allowed to work our pots once a day between limited hours, between 3:30 in the morning and 9 a.m. We're only allowed to touch the pots once a day, and we must remove the pots from the water every Saturday by 9 a.m. So we return the estuary back to the recreational sector. We're not out here over the weekend at all. We've got some bond stuff we do too, up to March 1. Like, she's a well and truly good sized female. We make sure the girls go back into the water, and that's a voluntary action we do for sustainability.
Mandurah's commercial fishers are now going a step further. They're in the final stages of being independently certified as sustainable by the Marine Stewardship Council.
Some years ago we did an EMS, which is an environmental management system, which started our step towards opening us up to the public and showing that we are sustainable, but we've got no real proof. So the third-party independent accreditation running through the MSC system proves to everyone what we know, that we are sustainable. And I've seen in the outer waters, in the oceans, environmental groups like Pew Group, WWF, Save Our Sea Life, all put a lot of pressure on external fisheries out there and try to enforce political closures. I want to make sure that we stay operating into the future here. So using the MSC accreditation, we can prove that we're sustainable. It's the gold label, you can't argue with it. So once we've got it, we can hold it up to the world and actually say, we are sustainable, how we're operating here is not harming the environment, and we're here to provide good, local, fresh, sustainable seafood to the Perth consumer.
Scientists chosen by the MSC are assessing the estuary's sea mullet and blue swimmer crabs.
Well, the MSC is really a scientific assessment of how well the fishery is performing, and it's done on 3 fronts really. You're looking at how healthy the stock is, but you're also looking at the wider ecosystem interactions. And finally, the lens gets turned at the Department of Fisheries to work out what management they have in place to make sure the fishery is really going to be viable for the future.
There's only a very few fisheries in the world that have got this accreditation, and it means a lot to every fisherman on this estuary. It's something to be sort of really proud of, and something that'll, ensure our industry here for many, many years to come.
The West Australian Government is spending $14.5 million to help up to 50 commercial fisheries do the preliminary assessment of MSC certification. Here in Mandurah, it's not just commercial fishers now well on the way towards third-party approval of their management and sustainability. In a world first, the recreational blue swimmer crab fishery is also seeking MSC certification. Andrew Rowland is a fisheries scientist and chief executive of RecFish West. It claims to speak for up to 700,000 amateur fishing enthusiasts in WA and is directly funded by fishing licences.
Ready, mate.
He says the MSC certification bid is about social licence, ensuring the recreational sector does its bit to protect an iconic West Australian fishery.
Yeah, the recreational fishing sector and the commercial fishing sector are co-clients in terms of the certification of this particular fishery, and you know we share very similar values. We all want to see a healthy fishery for generations to come, whether it be from a business perspective or whether it be from a lifestyle perspective or both. So yeah, absolutely, we understand that we need to be in this together.
March means Crabfest in Mandurah, a two-day festival attracting 100,000 visitors and injecting $3.5 million into the local economy. The focus is on food, with about 2.5 tonnes of crabs cooked and eaten during Crabfest. But it's also about sustainability and recognising the importance of the ubiquitous crustacea to the city's economic well-being.
Blue Manor crabs is Mandurah's icon. It is everything to Mandurah. People come down to the Crab Fest just to come and try crabs for the first time, to have a look around Mandurah. This is the event that really does showcase Mandurah to the world. It's fantastic down here.
Crabbing is a way of life in Mandurah, and the estuary's safe, shallow waters make scooping easy for people of all ages. But there's no licensing requirement for scooping and no reliable estimate of the shore-based recreational catch. Any idea of the numbers of recreational fishers who are crabbing in the estuary?
I believe it's in the thousands, but until we do a more complete survey that includes the shore-based fishers with the boat-based fishers, I don't really want to guess how many that is, or rather just do a proper estimate. How are these sizes comparing to previous years?
Dan Goggin is the principal scientist running the WA Department of Fisheries MSC certification program. He's confident of the department's ongoing research into crab stocks and its recreational fisher surveys, but says it has begun trialling thermal imaging cameras to make better assessments of numbers.
We'll try to use cameras if possible to get full 24-hour accounts of recreational fishers in some areas and see how that can be applied across the broader estuary.
The department says education has been and will remain one of its top priorities to ensure all recreational fishers understand size and bag limits.
There you go, male blue swimmer crab. He's only just legal, but we're allowed a daily bag limit of 10 of these per person, which is enough for a feed. And that's come right down, I guess, over the years. It used to be upwards of 40 per person, and through the years it's come down to 10, which is more in line with what people expect now. And you know, you can get plenty for a feed and then go back the next day and get an opportunity to go and catch some more.
Should you have a licence to do this?
Should you have a licence? Well, you need a licence if you fish from a boat. These guys are really accessible, fresh West Aussie seafood, and part of the attraction is that accessibility. We need to get a better handle on how many people are actually in this fishery, and that's part of what will come out of the MSC process. Whether that's a licence or a form of register or something like that is yet to be determined, but I think it's important that, you know, to really get a good handle on ensuring sustainable management, we need to understand how many people are accessing this fishery.
Commercial fishers like Damien Bell say a scooping licence should be an essential part of MSC certification.
We've got no idea how many people are coming down here and going crabbing, how many people are going scooping. We share the resource. So we're not the only one accessing this resource. Whether the figure be 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, who knows? But there's a sharing factor that goes on. And because they access X amount of 100 tonnes per year, we needed to make sure that we only weren't assessed. Their activities also need to be assessed and proven sustainable. And once that's proven, then the whole bunch of us can go forward with the group, the two of us can go forward together and promote the fishery as sustainable.
The Department of Fisheries says the commercial and recreational sectors are working together on a formal harvest strategy.
The Marine Stewardship Council assessment process identified a couple of things. One of the important ones that we've had to do is develop a formal harvest strategy, which lays out exactly how to, put the brakes on the fishery if required. So it sets reference points, for example, using catch rates, and if the catch falls below those, it invokes a management response that's been agreed to by the commercial and recreational fishers.
How you going, Megan?
Good, thank you.
5 kilo. Just one today, please.
The crabs, yep.
The Watts family has been retailing their catch from home for more than 40 years, and they're excited at the prospect of offering their customers MSC certified produce.
Will it make any difference to your bottom line? Will you be able to charge more for your fish?
Some ways yes, and some ways no. People will only pay what they think is a reasonable price for something. You can put your price up and sell less, or you can keep your price where you are and keep your stocks moving, getting it out there fresh and on the road.
For the Watts family, it's all about securing their future. The big beneficiaries may be people who don't fish themselves but want access to fresh, sustainable seafood.
It's not the days of who gets the most allocation. We want a fishery out there that's sustainable, so not just us but our grandkids and their grandkids. So an institution, Mandurah's an institution. So, and that's what we've got to leave it as, an institution for many generations to come.
And in an era where recreational and commercial fishing interests are at odds in many parts of Australia, Recfish West says it's keen to show that cooperation is possible.
I think that there's been commercial fishing here for many, many years, and it's also a part of the culture and the society that we have down here in Mandurah, and I think it's important that we recognise these boutique fisheries. They do have a place, and I think they do provide value to the cultural fabric of what makes Mandurah Mandurah. And I think, you know, in this day and age, we're sophisticated enough to be able to work side by side and manage this resource so we can maximise what it returns back to the community more broadly.